Reallyfe Street Starz. We got black excellence in the building. Owner and operator of the Breakfast Brothers, Rickey Booker.
Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Man, we appreciate you coming, man. We know you got a lot of things you do during the day, and we know that you're a busy man. And we just appreciate you for coming to sit down and speak with us for a moment.
I'm glad we finally was able to connect this. So
now,
you know, a lot of people might know you from the entertainment world, CKB.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I want you to take us, you know, give us your backstory. Like, you know, you've been involved in a lot of big things in Dallas just over the years. You know what I'm saying? Take us through the story real quick.
Okay. I actually moved to Dallas in, I guess it was around '94. So I've been here quite some time. And when I got here, you know, I had started with a couple gentlemen. They had a music. I always been into music for a long time because back in the day, Tony Thompson with High Five was my wife's first cousin. So I've been around the music for a long time. And I got here, and one of my friends, which is my cousin, Roy Mims, had a label called Wino Records. And you know, we did that a little bit. I didn't understand what he was doing. He had a couple cats from Florida that was doing the bounce music, but that was real popular then. So, and around...
You was involved in music yourself?
Yeah.
What were you, either an artist? Were you on the band? Or?
No, I didn't do none of that. For some odd reason, I had an ear for music.
There you go.
All I did was buy a lot of music, put stereos in my car, as loud as I could get. If the neighbor's car was louder than mine, the next day I wouldn't put the money in and made mine louder.
Damn.
So I was always into buying music and knowing, you know, just researching and doing that sounds and different things. I knew how to EQ sounds. I'm surprised I never was an engineer in the studio, but I just knew how to come up with sounds, and that's where it kind of came in. I just grew up around it.
Thanks. All right, so you're saying you're in Dallas. Music was the first passion.
Mm-hmm.
And take us into that journey as far as what transitioned you out of that journey.
Well, what transitioned, when I got started, my sister originally had, in 1995, when Oklahoma City bombing happened, I created a memorial around her. So CKB is her name, Cassandra K. Booker. So I created that in '95, and in '95 was called CKB Records. Then I flipped it to CKB Entertainment around 2000. And my first artist I had was a guy which was one of my best friends. I grew up in Oklahoma City. His name was Teaspoon, and we had a song called Dirty Third, which was kind of around the South. It was a big record. It was doing big things. And from that point, me and him kind of went to different directions. His music never connected no more. And, you know, I stayed in the studios doing things, and I ended up running into B-Hemp, which he was actually dating my daughter at the time. You know, he
Rickey Bobby,
yeah, Rickey Bobby.
Damn.
Yep. And
you just allowed him to date your daughter?
Well, I didn't know he was rapping. He used to come to my house. They was youngsters, you know.
Was this? I was about to say, was this before the Rickey Bobby?
Oh yeah, this was way before the Rickey Bobby.
Okay. I was about to say.
So you know, and I was gonna lead up to the story. You know, y'all wanted me to start from the beginning to
go through that
before we get to the end. So I'm giving you the story. A lot of people don't know the story, so I'm telling the story right here on the couch.
Reallyfe Street Starz.
That's right. So he hung at my house, you know, I feed, you know, when you got people coming to your house, you feed them, do all that. Around this time, he was in the 9th grade. So he started bringing me music, and I started listening to it. And then I said, man, it's 100 brothers on here, man. I got to wait till 30 minutes to hear you on it. And he kept bringing me, I said, man, quit bringing me music with 100 niggas on it. I mean, excuse me, 100 niggas on it.
Talk to him.
And he said, well, man, that's why, you know, we a group, we this, we that. I said, well, man, I want to hear you. Bring me some music, you. But at the time, that was the Game Boys. B-Hemp was part of the Game Boys, which was Technique, Eclipse, and all of them, Juan. So one night, fast forward to that, it was a Thursday, he brought me, I heard him in the living room because my son used to cut hair at the house, because that's when he was grooming to be a barber to what he's doing now for his life. So I kept hearing him say, take it to him, take it to him. He said, nah, man, he gonna trip. So finally he brought me the CD in the living room. I said, what's this, another CD with a bunch of cats all over it and y'all jumping all and the sound is all messed up? He said, nah, it's just me. So I went in outside and, you know, I was still in the music because I was in the custom shop and I had a charger. I popped it in and it started going, do-do-do-do-do-do. I was like, okay. It's kind of jam, kind of corny, but the beat was, you know, You know, back then you got sound in your car. That beat was stupid. So I went back in the house and I said, what you know? I was speechless. I said, who done this? He said, me and my partner got together and we done this song. I said, man, this sound pretty good. So I went back in there and I laid down, started watching TV again. That song was just stuck in my head. So I got up and I called, you know, back then, local DJ, G-Rock, you know. G-Rock, I need you to check this song out. He said, what is it? I said, come to the office tomorrow. I want you to hear this song.
Can I stop you real quick? How was you able to build all these relationships in music? I just want to brief, because I've only known you for the food. So and I like to think I know a lot of people in the music industry. I haven't just became recently familiar with you until this. Okay. So I don't want to sidetrack you. I just want to.
It's two things that I was always involved in. That was music, and that was custom cars. So I used to be in the custom car shop. So I worked for JR's Custom Auto in Irving. So I used to meet a lot of people from Greg Street. That's when I met DeVille. So I transitioned to where I got my own shop. Because I met a lot of professional athletes. You know, me and George Lynch, that used to play in the NBA basketball, me and him teamed up and became partners in a shop called Igon Auto Designs that was in Las Colinas. So we were shipping cars and doing cars. So I met a lot of people in transition that were Starz, that was behind the scenes and I just grew from there. You know, Patrick Creighton's, the Marion Barbers, the Marcus Spears, everybody, I built all their cars. I was shipping cars to Indiana, to the WNBA, what's the girl that was in WNA?
Brittany Renner?
No, this is back when they first started. Yeah, she went to the Chicago team. I put wheels on her car when she first got in the league. So, you know, being around that era, people just knew me in the car era. So that's where it started coming in. When G-Rock had he had an old raggedy Impala. And I took the Impala and we totally tricked it out.
Man, and I'm talking about that Impala was fire.
Yeah, but that's the Impala I built.
Oh, man.
That maroon one with the 22s.
He had sirens on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You would think he was pulling you over and everything.
Yeah. So you used these connections that you built, and you said, was this the Ricky Bobby song that he brought to you, or what was the name of the song?
Brought the song Ricky Bobby to me.
So he brought it to you, okay.
Right, and then I turned around, and the next day I took it to G-Rock, and G-Rock listened to it. And this was on a Friday, and he said, man, who's this? And I said, my daughter's boyfriend, B-Ham. And he said, man, this hit hard. Hold on a second. So G-Rock picked up the phone in my office and called DJ Drop with Definition DJs.
Right.
Said, man, I need you to get with me on this song. He said, I need to hear it. He said, okay, cool. We'll get together another time. So they did, and Definition DJs and Texas Trill, which was G-Rock, got behind the record. And G-Rock wanted B-Ham 2 days later to come perform the record. At Ribbon City, in them days, Ribbon City on Sunday was stupid.
For real.
So G-Rock wants you to perform. And he's like, huh? At Ribbon City, he said, okay, cool. He just knew the words to the song. He said, well, I'm gonna bring the producer too, because he's gonna do a show track for me. I said, cool. So when he brought the producer to my house, the little young light-skinned dude, I think at this time he's about 17, and his name,
Youngster, right?
Yeah, his name was Brandon Hishaw, and B-Ham's name is Brandon Hampton, and that was Youngstar.
Right.
So I ended up signing Youngstar to CKB, and B-Ham was to CKB.
So right out the gate, you just out the court.
And right out the gate, we went over to Ribbon City, and the song took off. They performing it, and everybody in the club, this was back when MVR their song was bubbling and doing good. The Road, Holly Berry, all those records, and then B-Ham came in, Stinky Leg, B-Ham, Ricky Bobby just.
Now, at this time, was B-Ham looking like, damn, your daddy the plug for real? Like, for you to make that call and get him on like that.
But you got to understand something. When it's a hit, it ain't no question. That's just what it is. You can't buy a DJ. You can't do nothing. When a record is a hit, it's a hit.
Yeah, but it's one thing to bring a hit to somebody who can make the call.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But when it's a hit, they make the call. But when it ain't a hit and you got the relationship, they'll still do things for you because of the relationship you have. But at the end of the day, when it's a hit, they make the calls and they move, and that's what happened with the Ricky Bobby.
So Ricky Bobby takes off. He's pretty much one of the heads of the Boogie era. where do we go from here? What are we doing? City to city, what?
And man, Ricky Bobby, we traveled Germany. I mean, we touched probably every city in the United States around that time. We was getting on a plane. GS Boys was getting off the plane. Sometimes we were getting on the plane with the GS Boys in the same city. Sometimes they would leave one city and come meet us. We were literally doing radio shows and shows. Sometimes we'd have to drive to one city to do a radio show, get on the plane to catch a plane to get to the next city for the next show. That's how it was moving. He had licenses deal with a race team, car team, a Pro Bull licensing deal. He had a shoe deal. He had a designer eyewear deal. Ricky Bobby brought a lot of licenses to him. You know, B-Him didn't wear shades. He didn't wear shoes. He had Rockport deal. He didn't care nothing about none of that.
Now I gotta ask, he's blowing up. At the time, does this cause friction with your daughter? Because it's like, as a male is grinding and making the waves, he probably.
I put it this way, it didn't cause too much friction with her because they were already at odds anyway, breaking up at the turn of the point. So I could tell you this, but I will say as a man and as a father, me and him didn't have no differences because, what he did, he did. He was a man. Sometimes a man be a man. And unfortunately, B-Him wasn't the type of one that was verbally, he wasn't abusive. He didn't whoop on women and all that. So at the end of the day, me and him didn't have no problem. But if I tell you we was on the road and be 20 girls sitting in the parking lot at the hotel, I can't tell you that.
I can't. Them stories for another documentary. Them stories.
Like, she got to come home for Thanksgiving dinner, this nigga at the table. like, Daddy, come on, man.
It started bothering her a little bit because me and him did everything together. We went to the movies. We was
Daddy, what is he doing? What is he doing?
Everything. Oh, man, we catch a good movie now, man. When you get a relationship with an artist, it's tough, man. You do everything with them. They got keys to your house and your cars.
Man, for real, I'm curious if you could speak on it. How lucrative was those times for you as far as, signing him and making all these licensing deals and things like that?
I'll tell you this. Sometimes when things take off so fast, you don't really pay attention to how lucrative it is because you're spending it as you're getting it.
That is facts, yeah.
So if I could tell you if we could sit back and take care of the money era and was paying attention to that, we probably both would have a lot of money, but we wasn't paying attention to that.
What would you have, now that what you've learned in the game and after starting other businesses and things of that nature, what would you have done with that song, that era, differently? Seeing how the landscape is now with TikTok, with owning masters and things like that, what would you have done differently with just the movement of signing both Youngstar and B-Him and having that song, doing what it did?
Actually, I would have paid attention to what Youngstar and B-Him really was putting together. They had put together a Dr. Dre and the Snoop Dogg situation. We started listening to the label. His next single that Youngstar produced was called I Be Jiggin'. But the label wanted to go with a record with Deron Jones from 112 and make B-Him this LL Cool J dude. All the girls already loved him, but they loved him in the dance area. They didn't love him to be a GQ type of dude. So I allowed the record, and the next single we already had ready, and it was already taken off on YouTube. People in Japan was already doing dances to the I Be Jiggin' record. And Youngstar produced that too. So they had a chemistry that I allowed the record company to disconnect. And Youngstar and B-Him chemistry, Youngstar got to the point where he wanted to be the artist and B-Him was the artist, and their chemistry started falling off and the label started taking it happening, and I allowed it. Yeah. So I would do different to where I would allow Youngstar to be the artist alone with the artist. Youngstar wanted to be out front too. He didn't want to just be the producer that sit in the room and wait for the artist to come back and record. So that's the difference that I would do. And then Youngstar ended up going off and doing other things with 2 Chainz and thing. He ended up doing big things.
No facts.
Man, he was a genius in his time, and he was young. Matter of fact, he was too young to get into some of the places he was going. So he was lying about his age. So he was a star in his own rights, and I never listened to that. It was almost kind of like if y'all remember the Dame Dash and the Kanye's story. You just do the beats, Jay-Z gonna rap. And that's kind of what I did with Youngstar and B-Him. So that's the only thing I would change, if I could change now.
Was Youngstar with you when he made the 2 Chainz beat, or was
y'all? No, Youngstar had already split off and started doing his own thing. And by that time, he was with my boy Corn, signed with Polar Hits, and he did some things with Polar Hits back in the day too. So Youngstar ended up being an independent beast when he came to records, and he started his own production team and done his own thing. But he was always that individual that was a genius when it came to that. he was young and he knew what he wanted to do. And he would come up with things, because when he did I Be Jigging, I said, man, one thing I noticed when Ricky Bobby took off, Bebe was real big in the breaking the Ricky Bobby as well through Louisiana time. And so when Grambling and the bands and the HBCUs, you know, those initials, started doing that. So I said, Young Star, you need to do the next song to where a band can play it. So I Be Jigging was an anthem, band anthem that he made drum production and came out with it, and B-Hemp came up with a song with another dance that was called I Be Jigging. I Be Jigging, right? I Be Jigging.
Yeah.
That song. And I allowed the chemistry to be disconnected because the label was wanting to move a different direction.
It happens like that. I'm curious on your thoughts as far as coming in at 94, being related to High Five. What are your thoughts on the Boogie era of Dallas? Like seeing Dallas early on and right there, that Boogie era, like you said, you were in Germany and GS Boys coming off the plane, y'all getting on. What was your thoughts on the Boogie era at that time, and did we kill our own movement with that?
No, we didn't kill our own movement. What happened was, you got to understand, in those days what was happening, Soulja Boy had just started the wave of YouTube. Soulja Boy had got in the wave of the ringtones. So our Boogie movement was right in the middle of that transition where it was going from CDs to streaming. So we was in the middle of where things was going viral without having the internet, and DJs was being involved in pushing records still. So we didn't have the opportunity to, almost to the point where you go from urban hip hop or hip hop R&B to you cross over to the top 40 side. Yeah. You know, just same way with Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's been a rapper for 13, 14, 15 years, and then when he crossed over with Lollipop, it made him huge. So we ever had the opportunity to cross over into the TikTok world. In those eras, we didn't kill the own movement. What killed the movement is because we were getting deals that the record label was getting. They looked at numbers, and they were still trying to figure out that streaming too. They just seen a bunch of numbers from the Dallas artists, so we were getting those small deals, and they were jumping on top of those deals and getting the sales and creating the sales and getting all the money. And the money was transitioning into streaming at the time when the Boogie movement was going on. If you think about it, Boogie movement helped design the streaming to pop. So we didn't kill ourselves. We actually was in the era of wave that the label didn't understand what was going on. It was just a wave that happened without the independents, once again, being the pigeons, helped them understand. So they started capitalizing and conquering YouTube, buying YouTube from the independent, buying Google and connecting all those dots. And if you think about it, Sound Exchange, those things they started trying to figure out, and that's why I believe, this is just my opinion, the Boogie movement didn't get killed. It was just in the middle of a transition that wasn't understanding in the industry at the time.
You know, I used to work at a record shop called Eargasm, and you know, they was one of the biggest markets for CDs in Dallas at the time, and I just remember that being a weird time trying to figure out like how we gonna sell these CDs, and everybody got, you know, they started streaming and you can.
But you gotta understand something about that owner, James.
James was a mastermind.
He knew what was happening before, and people didn't understand it, so nobody was listening to him.
Yeah. No, and I remember he really tried to jump. He tried to jump ahead of the curve.
Right.
But it was stronger than all. The current was so hard. It took everybody. It just swept everybody.
Right.
But James tried to get ahead of that before everybody.
Right.
So I hate that I said just gave you the Breakfast Brothers, because it seemed like you just had your hands in so many things. What made you even transition out of the music?
Well, when things start happening, when you got to the point where me managing B-Hemp and we wanted to have our own club to start playing our own music, it got to the point where it started getting hard. We was looking for the next Ricky Bobby. And like I say, the relationships that I had with DJs, they still was playing the music, but it wasn't quite where it should have been. So I said, you know what? I told B-Hemp one day, I said, man, we're gonna get our own club, we're gonna have our own DJs, and we're gonna break our own records. And he's like, how you gonna do that? I said, I don't know yet. So one day I was sitting there, you know, I forget what promotions was going on then, and I seen a phone party promotion come up. Maybe it was a flyer, and it was DJ Frosty. And I said, I keep hearing his name. I said, we're gonna go to this phone party, B-Hemp in Denton. I'm gonna go talk to this DJ Frosty. He was a white guy. So we went out there, and then, I mean, we went down this back road and down these back streets, and then we finally came to it, and they took a whole old house and converted it into a club off campus. And it was a line of cars. I mean, it was packed. And I got to the front door. I said, I'm here to see DJ Frosty. And they said, it's gonna cost $20. No, I just need to talk to him. I ain't tripping to pay him, but I just need to talk to Frosty. And Hemp was behind me. He said, tell him B-Hemp is here. And the girl was like, oh my God, it's B-Hemp. You know, they started going crazy. You know, they had. So he came out. I said, man, I don't want to take your time, man, but B-Hemp looking for a travel DJ. I think you might be what we need. So he said, oh man, let's talk. So I said, I'll come back out here next week. We talk. So I went back out there and took him to lunch. We sat down and talked. And Frosty signed to CKB as a DJ. He became B-Hemp's DJ, travel DJ. And you know, I had a whole lot of options to make him his travel DJ, but I always think out of the box. Frosty's a white guy. And when people see a black DJ on travel, that's normal, that's typical. So that, you know, I won't say ain't no excitement about it, but you know, that's typical. So when we took Frosty out, him and B-Hemp had a show, and you had this white dude DJing, and they had these skits with Miley Cyrus and all this thing going, so people was going crazy. So I said, you know, you dance. Man, we need to put something else with this. And he said, what? I said, well, we need to get some kind of dancer. And Frosty's like, I know somebody. And I said, who? He said, White Boy Boogie. So I signed Kevin to CKB. White Boy Boogie was part of CKB. And then we started doing that. Then I said, now we need to get a club. So I started calling around my relationship, and I called AJ and Fred, and it was Club Pier. And he said, well, we got somebody at Friday night. I'll give you a Thursday. I said, I don't care. I'll do the Thursday. I said, nah, I just wait for the Friday. So he said, well, I'm going to give this guy one more week. And I said, all right. So he gave him one more week, and he pulled him. He said, well, I got a Friday for you now. And I'll never forget, the Friday we was going to have was December 24th, Christmas Eve. And I said, well, man, this is what we're going to do. We're going to promote. We're going to go buy this purse, B-Hemp. We're going to get on the internet. We're going to get on Twitter. You're going to promote. We're going to get this purse away to a girl. And I got Luke, which is with Reallyfe now. Back then, it was ATS Design. Yeah. Issa Rae, which was Raise Up. Campus Queens. The DJ Campus Kings, the DJ Frosty's crew. We had, which DJ Trill was with this one, GMS with Daryl and them. I had like 6 promotion teams under the umbrella, but I started with Luke and Frosty. And we did the show, and that's when Jay Cruz first came to town, and I got him to host it. And it was cold, real cold. So we promoted, we put in like a month promotion, and here it is, it's grand opening day. Flop, nobody showed up. I felt like Bugsy Siegel did when he did the Flamingo. On Christmas Eve.
What do you feel killed, like, was it someone else? Was it because it's Christmas Eve, or was someone else in town? Like, what killed that night?
I think at that time, they wasn't ready for us. J-Rock was Club Cirque, period. Club Cirque was going down, and J-Rock was Club Cirque, and it was around the corner. Right. So that killed it. So the next day, Luke said, man, I don't do this. That made us look bad. I said, nah. I went to AJ. He said, well, man, that was bad. That was worse than the dude that I just put out. and I said, give me 4 weeks. 4 weeks. If 4 weeks, you don't give me 4 weeks, it don't happen, we done. Within that 4th week, it was a line. Jump. Club Pier to 7-Eleven for 2 years.
Yeah, you had Pier.
For 2 years.
Man, Pier was always stupid.
For 2 years.
Yeah, it was up there with them, like Club Blue, like Wind City, where you can go in and, that
2 years. Then Frosty was so cold with it to where we started trending on Twitter, and I didn't even know what that meant.
Right. Oh,
he started telling me about that. Then he built some codes for Facebook to where you can go on and promote and hit one click and copy and paste it, click it, and then you can add all your friends at one time instead of, how Facebook did it.
Right.
So we got everybody who was in our promo team, all of their codes and all their logins, and we was doing that. So we was inviting, so we had Twitter.
Did you learn this on the fly? That seemed like you had some genius shit going on, man.
That's why I got these bags on my eyes, man. I don't get no sleep, bro. I wake up with ideas. They come to me, like Pookie Yeah. So it should be calling.
Just calling,
man. I come up with ideas all the time, man, and And then sometimes it takes me a little while to initiate them, but when I initiate them, it just like it takes off.
I ain't gonna lie, they ain't really putting enough respect on your name, bro, because you got a lot of shit.
What? Nah, for real.
That's why we be doing these interviews, because we be trying to capture Dallas history.
I never wanted to do this. I ain't
what?
about the interviews and the cameras.
No, but you got to tell the story.
Now the realest talk, because Bobo Luciano was here one day, and he was like, y'all really need to learn y'all Dallas history, like, and who really put this shit together. And it's like you saying, like, like, bro, from my vantage point growing up, Rickey B-Ham just blew himself up. That's what you think as a kid. Like, I don't know who orchestrated that, but he's like, he do Rickey Bobby.
Well, him and Youngstar orchestrated. They just brought it to me.
But you, man, come on now. You signed them. Like, most people be like, yeah, you got, I'm going to call it. But you like, I'm going to sign y'all. It takes a lot of person.
It definitely does. Now, I got to ask, because you went 2 for 2 right out the gate. Did you try to sign anybody else after that? Because I think y'all had Bentley Green too, right?
No, I'll tell you, BC Southern Fried Market had Benny Green.
Okay,
but
okay.
I will tell you that I was real instrumental in talking to Trilly and Prince Rick. DeRoe.
3 for 3.
DeRoe.
4 for 4. You
GS
got to tell me about the
Boys.
miss, bro. Who did you miss on?
I missed on DeRoe. I missed on
You didn't
Trilly
miss
and
on
Prince
DeRoe?
Rick. I missed on DeRoe. DeRoe came to me and brought me. This is the
Oh,
story.
you saying you didn't sign? You had the chance.
He brought me Holly Berry.
Oh man.
And I said, whose song is this? This another guy on the song. He said, well, it's my partner. You know, we go to college together, and it was Superstar. It's his record. I said, well, you're going to have to go get clearance first and tell me what's up with that. And he said, okay, cool. So he did that, but it never transpired. But he kept bringing me records. So him and DJ Merck brought me this record called Ice Cream Paint Job. And I listened to it. I said, well, this jam. And I still didn't move on the road. And so, you know, I used to watch BDS and Media Base a lot. Then I started seeing Ice Cream Paint Job being played in San Francisco on the radio. And next thing you know, it went for like 3-4 spins. Then it went to 120 spins. It was the only station in the whole United States playing the road. And the next thing you know, it just popped. And he was out of there.
I'm just curious on your thoughts as far as, you know, Dallas seemed like with Pure turned up, right? It seems like Dallas clubs be having like a good 2-3 year run, then they're gone. Is it because of the promoters? Is it because of another club taking business? Or what is it? Because there's no seem to be long-standing club that's, you know, years if not decades in the game.
You got to understand something. When you create excitement at a club or a wave at a club, they only last 2 or 3 years.
Okay,
but if you create, that don't have nothing to do with Dallas, but if you create a club to be a staple,
Like a culture.
like GG's was,
GG's is a culture.
that's a culture. Like Dreams and cultures. So
I went to GG's.
the only reason why GG's ain't here no more,
Yeah.
because they bought the property out. I think it'd still be here if it
No,
wasn't
it'll
for that.
definitely still be here. GG's was,
Hey, during them times like Pier and Cub Blue, that was like the Molly era, where people was popping Mollies and.
Cirque was the Molly area.
Like, when you used to go to the club, like how much fun did you just have, just see? Because that's when everybody used to dance and used to have fun. It actually was clubs to go to.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't go to clubs unless I was working the front door, I was taking the artist, getting the record played, or I owned the club. But me just to go hang out at the club, I didn't do that.
You was an OG at this point. That shit didn't even matter to you.
Yeah. So,
How many clubs did you own?
huh?
How many clubs did you own?
Did I want?
No, did you own?
I didn't own none of them.
Oh, okay.
Well, so far up to the point, just recently in 2017, the first club that I owned was King of Diamonds. KOD, we still own the name. We ended up transitioning because the building, the landlord was getting us out of the building, but we own the name, trademark, me and my business partner.
You own King of Diamonds?
King of Diamonds name.
Mondays.
The original King of Diamonds owner is called Lenny Moore. He's from Miami.
Yeah.
He's originally, if y'all remember in King of Diamond days, we brought him to King of Diamonds as a guest 2 times.
Right. I remember.
Co-signed us. And
King
he
of
said,
Diamond Mondays.
right,
Is the strip club business a lucrative business?
strip club business is a lucrative business. But the one thing that you can take out of content of strip club is to sell fantasies. What we're doing now, we're taking strip clubs and creating venue halls, concert halls. Strip clubs is about the women. And that's the reason why we had success. You notice when we had King of Diamonds, when we bring King of Diamonds back, quote unquote, it's about the women.
It's about the women.
Period.
Do you feel it got more lucrative when they start letting women come into strip clubs without male escorts?
To me, it's a wave because where we at now, and it's unfortunate, but women like women just like we like women.
Right.
So at the end of the day, these things happen when they stop letting the women come in. They can come in solo without the men. I think that was the best thing that they did.
Right.
Because men want to go where the women are at. You got women going with clothes on, and you got women with clothes off. So that's the best of both worlds.
You know, I feel like the strip club lost this luster when it lost that little bit of shame that went with it when you went. Like, you know how you never knew a female was a stripper unless you went to the goddamn club and seen her in there. Like, that was defended. Like, oh, you'll never see her anywhere because you see us now. You see them, the young ladies, and they on Instagram. They meet me at work. I'm not even supposed to know you exist. When I come in here, it's like another
But see,
dimension.
the world's changed. Social media is a platform for promotion, so it's just where you promote, period. And that's just what it is. Whatever it is you got going on, you promote it.
So here on Reallyfe Street Stars, when you reopen King of Diamonds, can Reallyfe Street Stars get a night?
Yeah, absolutely. But as long
And
as
we got you on camera.
as long as y'all understand, it's about the women. If it's about the women,
Nigga, we love women. No. Okay,
So King of Diamonds, there was some wild shit that used to happen. Like, was it one of the wide receivers from Dallas Cowboys foot racing in the parking lot or some wild shit?
that probably was at Onyx.
Oh, okay. But one of the things that used to happen a lot in the strip club culture is, I remember like some clubs would hate on other clubs and like call like the fire marshal or some shit to try to get them shut down. What part of the game is that? Is that just?
I never understood that part of it. Is, you know, King of Diamonds, we used to get beat to death with city officials coming over there, fire marshals, health inspectors. You know, it comes to the point you create a standard wave, and I don't know where it's come from. I can't even prove if that comes, but fire marshals did tell us. Now they have a platform. They watch social media. So whoever has the high profile of promotions, that's where they come. So yeah. I don't think technically it may have started people calling on you, but they got smarter. They start watching to see where the high end of promotion. So just say, for instance, if you bring in a rapper, a high profile celebrity, a rapper, and the promotions is insane, it's all over the place. It may be a chance that fire marshal gonna show up right when you open your doors, just to mess with you.
Just to fuck with you.
Yeah. And that didn't have nothing to do with that another owner called you. It just had something to do with that your promotion game was strong enough.
See, that's another thing. I was like, man, when they start bringing rappers in, no, I don't want to come here to see no rapper. I don't want to see no nigga, period, except the ones that work here. I want to see ladies. I don't want to see them. I don't know. That's why. What the fuck is? I don't like right. Yeah.
Okay, like I ain't gonna lie, you kind of blowing our mind in this interview. What else you got going, man? You got
No, wait. While we're on strip clubs, because you know, Laura Miller came in, her husband was found out there. She wanted to shut all strip clubs down. She's like, fuck it. What was the craziest thing in your ownership that happened, would you say, under your tutelage of King of Diamonds? That you were like, you got a phone call, you're like, shit.
When a bank called, that's when we stopped taking credit cards, period. The bank called and tried to shut down $5,000. I ain't gonna say who the player was out of Miami. Wife called to dispute the card, shut down. I already cashed out for one. Charge back. Yeah, you gotta understand something. When the wives see those things, they'll dispute them. So after that, we just quit taking. You can't get ones with credit cards, period.
That'd be wild to tell every dancer, tell all the dancers, can y'all bring that money back up here?
Man, hold on. Hold on. And you know what? I did not know that you could get ones with a credit card.
Oh yeah.
I did not know that. They just charge you a tax.
Yeah.
I seen a white boy go into ecstasy. He's like, yeah, I'd like to buy 1,000 ones. Pull out his credit. That's what he said. I'd like to buy 1,000 ones. They slid his credit card for like $1,100.
Yeah.
Bro, and he finna write it. Bro, I know he did it on the company card.
But the chargebacks that you get from the wives or the girlfriends or whoever pay the bills see it, they cut it out. They shut it down. And then that's why a lot of times when you credit card merchant accounts won't set up credit cards with entertainment companies, strip clubs. So you got to do some different things to get a credit card.
Now let me ask you this, from your opinion, why are the Houston strippers so much more popular than the Dallas strippers?
You say why what?
Are the Houston strippers so much more popular than the Dallas strippers?
You gotta understand something. The culture in Houston and Dallas is different. If you pay attention, Houston has, I'm just gonna make it up, they probably have 5, 6 major colleges right there. Mm-hmm. You got girls coming from California, you got them coming from all over the United States. So you got that many girls coming in 8 to 9 months of the year right there in Houston, and they come to the strip clubs, they look better, they have more money, and then a lot of times in the culture of people there, the culture there is more like this. When it comes to our urban culture, they all stick together, so they turnkey. Dallas, we don't never disconnect anything, but we don't have some of the things that Houston have, and that comes, and we had 6 major colleges, we have more popping clubs lasting longer. So we got one club here that's SMU, but
So we need some SBCUs out here.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes a difference. So that's why sometimes when people ask me about Houston, I don't compare them. The only comparison I see, you got all those major colleges right in the inner city.
Man,
and you got that many people in the inner city for 8 to 9 months out of a year.
That's an awesome point. And young and want to do something.
Kappa Beach was lit. U of H was lit. Prairie View lit.
TSU lit. Drake made a whole song.
Yeah.
So again, man, you kind of blowing our mind over here, man. So you pop too.
Hold on. Why did you even start doing food? Like what? Did you just well, fuck it, I can cook too?
Yeah. I cooked all my life. I cooked at home. My kids used to tell me to start cooking. I said, man, I'm not doing that. So I've been managing artists. I've been in custom car business. I made a living. And when we got King of Diamonds, it didn't have a kitchen in it. So me and my business partners was like, man, we need to get somewhere to buy food. So they started researching and found the little black trailer for $3,000. Put it in the back, King of Diamonds, had electrical for it, and we started selling food. They wanted me to get involved, so we made a small menu, and I made the menu, and my partner got I think about 3 cooks, and they was in there cooking, and food was selling, but it sucked. So me and him was going back and forth, and he said, man, won't you just do it? I said, man, I'm not doing that. We running the club, we doing the day-to-day operations, so I started seeing the numbers. I said, man, it look like we just buying food to pay the cooks. We're not making no money at this, but I wasn't tripping. If you broke even just to satisfy the customers that's coming, they want food at after-hour spot. But I don't want to lose 1 penny doing it. So when they started doing that, I said, man, I went up in the office one night, and I said, man, this not gonna work, man. Y'all gotta do something about that kitchen. It's about Monday, and he yelled, why don't you do something about it then? If you know so goddamn much. And I said, I will. I walked down the stairs, went out, looked in the trailer, and was like, you, and you. This was the whole first staff that nobody even knew about. Get the fuck out.
He said, you, and you. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Locked the door, locked it up, went back upstairs, and both of them was up there laughing. I was like, what's so funny? I just knew if I make you that mad, you was gonna do something about it. Went out there, and a week later, and started hiring cooks and started getting the recipes together, making sure the food was right. And about the second week, we opened it up. People started buying the food, and then word got around, took off. People was lining up at that truck to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning buying food.
And it's crazy because it got, he's like, people didn't even come to go and get in the club. He's like,
yeah, they was coming to get the food.
Yeah.
And then it came to the point, like I say, people that didn't even go to strip clubs to see girls was coming to buy that food.
I ain't gonna lie, I pulled up.
Yeah, I done pulled up.
Many times.
That fried rice?
Yeah, y'all was serving shit that didn't make no sense. Nah, that was wild. So yeah, man, so you fix it. So that was the origin of you starting to say, okay, I can do this on my own. I can start my own restaurant.
But we weren't thinking about that. We were just thinking about serving good food to the customers, and the numbers was going up.
Gotcha.
So next time we end up losing the building, and we had to go right before we lost the building. We bought Pink Lounge.
Okay.
So we bought Pink Lounge. So me and my business partner owned Pink Lounge, and that was like July 2017. So we started running Pink Lounge, and it started going. And King of Diamonds was still open. And that was right when we was finna shut down and renovate the locker room. And landlord had some differences that he wanted to do, so he pulled the plug on us. So we took the trailer, took it over to Pink Lounge, did the same thing, put the plug in it, put it in there. And I got with 3 promoters, and they wanted to do what they call R&B Fridays, 3 promoters. It was if y'all know these names, it was Stink, Willie, and Thugger. They did R&B Fridays, and they started promoting it. And I remember that night, 50 people showed up the first Friday, the next Friday, 75, and it grew. And then next thing you know, they said, man, this food is good. We need to start promoting the food with that. And next thing you know, 700-800 people was coming to Pink Lounge. It was line of cars. That block was like Grand Central Station over there, man. It was stupid. Every Friday.
And they was headbutting at Pink Lounge to get in there.
Yeah.
$40. What?
Pink Lounge was a staple of Oak Cliff and will still be going too, but we went through some transition with the HOA in the city, and they ended up putting the plug on that. But before they pulled the plug on it, they started coming out because there was so much traffic going there Fridays, Saturdays, to where the whole block was crazy. So the city officials was coming and see what was wrong. So they started coming.
Yeah, because you were parked in front of a person's house to go.
Checking out permits and all that, and everything was clean. And then one night he walked on the patio with his clipboard, the code inspector, and he looked to the left, and the little black trailer always used to sit right next to the patio, and he's like, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, that's our food truck." I didn't know nothing about no permits. We just in there cooking good food.
Right.
He went in that trailer. He was in there about 45 minutes, came out and said, "Shut it down. I'm surprised nobody ain't died in this thing." No permits. And in the summertime, we used to have all the doors open, propane tanks hanging out the back. In the wintertime, we had all the doors shut with the fryers open for heat because it didn't have no AC or air. And then when it rained, it leaked. So they made us pull it, and I said, man, and then from that point, R&B Fridays just started going like this. And Thug and them was like, man, we're going to get food. So we started figuring out how to get food. And after that, I said, man, they ain't going to let me bring the trailer back. So we started trying to figure out how to buy a food truck. But by this time, the numbers was dropping so drastically that Thug, Stink, and Willie was like, man, we got to do something. So it ended up transitioning to where the club just flatlined.
Right.
So when I said, man, we need to get the food back. So people wanted that food. So I ended up making a deal with another strip club and leased their kitchen. Mm-hmm. Put the food in there. About a year or so went by, and then we did a Pink Lounge was still going at the time. It was going. It wasn't going as good as it was before. And then I got another call from a corporation, which was RCI, that owned Ecstasy, Bombshells, Silver City, Cabbies, Rick's Cabaret, wanted the same formula for the Breakfast Brothers. So I went and did it, and we put it in Cabbies. Then I went to Rick's DFW, Rick's Fort Worth, Rick's Abilene, San Antonio, Austin, and then pandemic hit, wiped us out.
Man. Hey, pandemic. What's one because during the pandemic, everybody was trying to figure it out, man, learning new skills. Did you learn a new skill during the pandemic?
I'm gonna tell you what I did. I was sitting at home, I was probably my man size at King of Diamonds. I was a lot smaller than this, and sitting at home eating, getting big and big. I said, man, I gotta do something. So one day my girl was like, man, I'm finna start doing Instacart. And I was like, what is that? She said, where you go pick up people's groceries and you take and you make this and that. I said, I'm gonna go with you. So I went with her, and we was doing the groceries, and and she was getting paid on the credit card, and she was making $1,500, $2,000 a week. I'm like, man, that's good money. So then we were sitting at home, and she said, you want something to eat? I said, yeah. I don't feel like going to get it. No, we're gonna do Uber Eats. And I was like, Uber Eats? Get some Chipotle. So 15 minutes later, Chipotle came, still hot and everything. I was like, damn. I said, damn. Then one day, she said, you want to get something to eat? And I said, yeah. And then there was another place, but I'm gonna do DoorDash today because Uber Eats took forever the other day. I said, DoorDash, that's another delivery food? So I started researching the DoorDash, the Postmates, the Uber Eats, and I said, they stock shot up during pandemic. I said, man, what if we, so I called my business partner, I said, man, we need to find a food truck, because we can pull that food truck up everywhere. And then we went and found the food truck and got the food truck and started working our food truck. And I noticed that delivery service was real powerful. So I came up with an idea. So I called our licensing lady. I said, the strip clubs we was in was closed down. Breakfast Brothers is in there as a subcontractor. We got our own, we pay our own taxes out of there. So that means I'm a company inside of a company. She said, yeah. What if you call TABC and see if I can get a bar and restaurant license? And then I tell the strip club people, and they use, right. So the TABC just around that time was transitioning to do that. And then I told RCI, which they already knew too, and I told DGs, and they got a bar and restaurant license, and then we was able to open back up at 50% capacity. So we started doing that too. So when I get ready to do something, I don't like to talk about nothing. I like to get the facts, because I say this all the time, and people say that people lie, numbers don't. If you research it and you give people the facts, can't lie about that. So that's where that transition came from. And if you look at that, and I seen that, and when I started thinking about the delivery service, I said, we need to find us a small restaurant and do delivery and curbside. So one of my business partners' mother got a salon in Arlington, and right next door to it used to be a small chicken place, which was, I guess, Henderson's Chicken. They turned into a smokehouse thing too. So she said it's available. So I went and looked at it and I said, man, we need to get this, make it a Breakfast Brothers. And then we both said, well, man, we don't need to just put paint on the walls, because every time people got good food, man, and it's good food, but the places don't look very well. And I said, well, man, he said, man, let's go, because prior to that, we had talked to an architect, big firm in Dallas, but he was stupid high. So we went back to him and told him what we was wanting to do, this and that. He said, okay, cool. He drew up a rendering and a plan. We loved the idea. He drew it up to our personality, and when he drew it up, we loved it. And I did a deal with the place in Arlington on the intent to be delivery and curbside. And once we opened up and people in the entertainment world knew that we had a regular brick and mortar, when we opened it up, took off. They wasn't trying to do 50% capacity. I didn't even get to put, you remember back in the restaurant, they used to put the stickers on the floor 6 feet? I didn't even get a chance to put that down. And people was in there, man, we never got a chance to do curbside or none of that. And Uber Eats, DoorDash, all of them, Grubhub was blowing my phone up. And I never would do it. And then finally, I transitioned and I did a deal with DoorDash where they would take less percentage. Oh, exclusive deal with them. That's how powerful the Breakfast Brothers brand became. So they did exclusive deal with us and dropped the percentage.
That's crazy. I didn't even know they did exclusive deal.
Depending on how bad they was.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Your mind for this, is that just a natural thing? Did you read a book? Like, what was it that allows you to go from industry to, because you're going from different industries and you're successful in every one of them?
This is I'm just keep it real, man. I say this too. You be born to die. So in the time frame, whatever that time frame is, that appointment God got for you, you got to figure out your plan. I did cars. I managed artists. I've been into music. I did whatever it was doing. I made a living on it. But the one thing that I did great at, I never paid attention to, and that was cook. And once I finally did what you was born to do, it almost seemed like it's easier than anything else that you did.
And it's crazy because everything you talking about encompasses would be tenfold if you had some good food around.
Yep.
People will come and sit at your car shop if there's I seen a boy do with a barbershop. He just had good hot dogs.
Yeah.
And people come for the hot dog. They don't get
That's like in New York. When I go to New York, I go to that hot dog stand, give me a hot dog right there on the corner. I don't know what it is about them hot dogs.
The glizzies.
Yeah.
Man.
So I got to ask, what is one of your proudest moments of, having the Breakfast Brothers that you could look back and say, man, I mean, of course it's still, we got time to go, but as of now, what is one of your proudest moments of having, this entity as far as a staple in Dallas?
Well, I can start here. Whenever you go to Breakfast Brothers, when you go in, it's kind of like back in the day when they used to do the Apollo and every guest to come on, they rub the tree stump. That's a symbol. So when you come in Breakfast Brothers now, our walls and the front counter down the walls is bordered with the little black shack. So we never forget where we came from. We cooked inside of those walls for 7 years. They created the foundation to where Breakfast Brothers is going now. So that's my proudest moment.
That's real. To be on syndicate on CW33 as far as getting your brand out to the masses, how was that for you as far as what you have planned for Breakfast Brothers, what you have planned for yourself and your brand? What stepping stone is this?
Hold on, before you answer that, because when we did your show, which thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Because I didn't even. Thank you, Brittany. Nah, for real, because I was like, I went and asked a couple of people, right? Have you watched the Breakfast Brothers show on? Oh yeah, I watch it every Saturday morning. Like 3 people. I was like, because I don't know. Of course, I don't even turn the TV on, but I was like, man, it's lit, and we got to do that for. And we got to do that. And sometimes you don't realize the opportunities you have until you talk to somebody about them. But yeah, back to his.
To put us in front of a new audience like that, again, like you said, I haven't watched the show, but I'm on game now. So it was like, what part of this is, in your story as far as being able to syndicate on television of, the food that you're able to create and cultivate to the people?
What happened was when we first did it, CW33 interviewed me probably with the first 90 days when we opened up Breakfast Brothers. So I did a Zoom interview with CW33 and cooked the food, and my publicist took the food on set, and they ate it live. They had a show called the Morning After, the Morning AM, like a Kelly and Regis show that came on every morning. And they ate the food live, and I was on Zoom, they interviewed me. And after they got through interviewing me, they said, man, they was eating it, saying this food is amazing. What is this? Asked me a lot of questions. And jokingly, I said, man, whenever I see y'all ain't got no cook shows, when y'all want a cook show, man, I'm y'all man.
And look,
It starts with a joke.
and look, because I have seen you on there a couple times in the morning, and it just is like, oh, that's bro from DG. That's what I always used to think.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's crazy. His food must be real good. I mean, it is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, what was that when they said, was it something that became like a regular thing?
What happened was probably a week later, my publicist brought one of the producers over to eat Breakfast Brothers, and we had a conversation, and she said, we would love to have, you got the idea already on the show? And at the time, I didn't have the idea. And I said, no, not really. So we had a conversation about it and put it together there, and we did a contract for 52 episodes, and we started filming and doing our own thing. And then I started doing it to promote Breakfast Brothers food and Breakfast Brothers alone. And the first episode was with Dee in the morning, Dee from K104 in the morning team. The second one was Derek James, EJ's training manager. So when I started thinking, and I started kind of like y'all told me early in the interview, y'all got to know the history of Dallas. When I started thinking about it, I'm just talking to Dee and she was telling me her history and where she came from. And then Derek told me he was originally from Oak Cliff and how he grew up. And I was like, man. So my wheels started spinning. So I said, I'm going to start inviting guests, our culture that I never knew that there was female black dentists, there was doctors, that there were artists. I mean, real artists other than, I knew C-Ray, but I didn't know it was other artists in the world, in Dallas area. So once I started researching that and getting into that, and then I wanted to add the entertainment platform to it, and that's where that started from.
Man, bruh, it's so crazy because, like, we like to think, it's, hold on, because it's 4 of us, right? And we like to really think that we be having our ears to the street, bro. But you are legendary in this motherfucker.
Legendary now, facts.
I just tell you, I just never was the one that ever wanted to do these interviews.
Right.
Remember when I first met you,
Yeah.
you was trying to interview, and then I was like, nah, I don't do interviews. And then my first interview I did was with at K104
Right.
with you was there. It was 4 years ago.
I
You
remember,
videoed it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Video, yeah.
but I just never wanted to do it because I was always the one that wanted to manage things and put people out in front of it. I didn't never want to do it, but when Breakfast Brothers became to the point, my business partner said, man, you cooked the food, you came up with the ingredients, you got to start talking about it.
Right.
We're in a world where you got to be the face of it. I said, man, I'm not doing that shit.
Isn't it funny that life will push you in places that you don't really want to be in, but it's like you need to be there?
Yeah. But when we first started the show, I was like that too. I didn't want to do it. When they started them to do it, them shows was terrible. I was like, people like, no, they not being real pleasant. They cool, they not that good. So I started watching other cook shows, talk shows, different hosts, personality. I started watching how I do my works. Almost kind of like when you're an athlete, you watch films to get better. So I started watching myself and doing my own, being involved in my own edits and started doing it. So the show got better, but at first the show was terrible.
Have you ever thought about getting into the edible side of things?
Man, I never did, but you know, I know how to make the butter and those different things to get in the edible thing. And the fuse bar. But I had I won't mess with edibles. I ate a Rice Krispie one time. Oh man,
Tell us about your first time.
man.
Look, and I tell you my story.
Boy, I thought you know, my girl was making edibles during the pandemic, right? So she was doing that too. So she had that hustle on the side. So one night she left. She said, I made you an extra Rice Krispie. And I said, okay, cool. So she made me one, but this, I didn't want no weed in it because, you know, weed made to sell, not smoke. But no. But it was a pretty big Rice Krispie. And I went in there and ate it. And I said, this tastes like weed. So I called her. I said, hey, I thought you left me edible. I didn't make it. I had to get in a hurry. I said, but there's one here I already took a bite of. That's one that got the weed. And I said, oh man, damn. Okay. So I put it. Now check it out. So I put it down. So I put it down and went in the room and sat on the room. And I was like, damn, that was kind of good. Yeah. So I went and got it again, took another bite of it. Then next thing you know, it was addicting. It was so good. So I went and got the whole thing, sat on the bed. Hey, that Rice Krispie about this big and that thick, and ate the whole thing. And next thing you know, I'm sitting there, I'm going. And the TV seemed like it was right here.
Hold on, but
don't feel like I could feel my heart beating.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie though. Tell the truth. Did you go crazy on your girl though?
Oh man, check this out. So that was about 9 o'clock. So I reached in my pocket and got my phone. I was fully closed. I had just got home and the TV was right there. But you know, the TV was across the room. It was right there. And then I started breathing. I'm like, so I laid down and I got nervous and I was like, all I could see was like stuff moving in the room. I could just my eyes, and then I got nervous and I went to go reach for my phone to call her. I could see the phone, but I couldn't reach for it. So she got home about 1 or 2 o'clock. I was high from 8 to 2 o'clock. I thought I was gonna OD. I was high in a bitch. I was so high. I ain't messing with no more edibles since then.
Fuck. Hold on, we went to Vegas, all of us. And look, this boy, my boy Joker, he had some edible Sour Patch Kids.
Man,
but look, I don't fuck with edibles. Mm-hmm. But I had a Sour Patch in my pocket. I don't even know how I got it. But I pulled that bitch out of my pocket. And I said, "Oh!" And I'm just going about the day. And I was outside, and the wind felt so good.
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn, it's just a beautiful day. It felt so good outside." I said, nah.
It scared me.
It felt. I called Joker. I said, "Did you have some edibles?" He said, "Yep." I said, "Was they Sour Patches?" He said, "Oh yeah." Nigga, I would. Hold on, bro. I'm wandering around Las Vegas casino. I'm trying to find my room.
Yeah, man.
I just so happened to see my brother right. I said, "Rook, take me to my room, please." He said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He said, "What the fuck happened to you?" I said, "I don't know how I got it."
Yeah, man, them things are dangerous. I called my brother BC the next day, He said, man, edibles go straight to your bloodstream. And I didn't know that, man. What? I thought I was going to OD. I breathing hard, felt my chest pumping and everything.
Man, so I ain't gonna lie, you've had an incredible run thus far. What's next for you? You know, you got the TV show, you got the Breakfast Brothers.
We both. I'll tell you this way: we both own the trademark of Breakfast Brothers, the slogan where we feed your soul, the logo, and we got a jingle, and we own the jingle. So we're gonna do about 5 to 6 restaurants in the Dallas area, and then we're gonna franchise it. We want to buy pad sites, build Breakfast Brothers on the pad site. We own the lease, own the land, and we get a percentage of the franchise. So 3 different categories. We have a real estate company, we have a company that the restaurants is umbrella in, we got a company that the clubs is umbrella in. So within, I would say in a 10-year span, we have enough restaurants and nightclubs in the Dallas area to be the staple.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Man, we could sit here and talk to you all day, but shit. Part 1. You got any shout outs?
Man, my shout outs, everybody that's doing anything, you got a vision, you blessed by the best. You know, I shout out everybody that was part of the movement that I've been involved in for years. And I'm not saying that a lot of people helped me, you know. You know, Bebe was big in my career at CKB Entertainment, and that's one thing that I didn't talk about that me and Frosty created and Bebe was a part of too. It was called Latex, the party at Bramlett.
Oh, you a part? What?
Yeah. We started it in 2009. It was Latex 2K9, 2K10, 2K11, 12, and I think it started fading around 2016. And the Latex was Louisiana and Texas.
Yeah, that's when niggas start trapping and they didn't give a fuck. That's when niggas start buying.
Niggas stopped wearing latex and it got fucked up.
We did that without doing the numbers that we was doing. You know, Bebe was real big in doing that. You know, Frosty. I shout out a lot of people. Isha Ray, B-Ham, Luke with Reallyfe right now. Trill, DJ Trill. Drop, G-Rock, D-Real, DJ D-Real. Man, the list goes on and on. Fat Pimp. You know, I know he don't like my business partner. You know, everybody know him as Whitehead. BJ, you know, that's Whitehead's cousin. He called me, that's my nephew. Man, my kids, my family, my kids was real big on me doing what I do. Man, if I forgot, man, I just don't know. It's a lot of people.
Shout out your son's barber name.
Rickey Ricardo, that's my son, Rickey Jr. You know, he got Art of Barbering Part 2. You know, what Rickey really supposed to be doing, Rickey was supposed to be in the NFL. He's supposed to be retiring now from the NFL, but that's a whole nother story. Y'all got to get him on so he can tell that story.
Amen.
But Rickey, man, BC with Southern Fried Marketing, C-Nut, which is affiliated.
That's how I know CK.
Yeah. Yeah, the High Rollers, you know, Word Life. You know, a lot of people. You know, I manage artists now. I manage this now is Austin Green. You know, his white kids coming up. Yeah. Nard. Yeah. Lil B, me and Lil B. Yeah. Yeah. Stay down, Lil B. Man.
So before we get out of here. Who do you think got the talent to be the next superstar out of Dallas? Dallas-Fort Worth.
Dallas-Fort Worth. Man, it's a lot. My opinion, it's a lot. It's, you know, I'm a big fan. Yellow Beezy, Trap Boy Freddy, Go Yayo, Lil CJ, Bugatti. All these, man. If we figured out how to put all those guys together, and I put it this way, if they still doing their own thing and it wasn't so much violence in those situations, those eras, I think the industry, we're probably one of the cities, I think, my opinion, is probably the industry is the most scared to sign a lot of people because they feel like it's a lot come with it. You know, our guys don't play no games. They, you know, what they rap about, they do. Right, so I think it's a lot of people in this city that's artists right now that could blow any time. But I think the industry is scared of us a little bit when it come to what you call liability. Right. So, you know, I listen to all their music. I watch them, you know, I'm one of the ones, I do a lot of research. I might not like a post, I might not say nothing, but I watch all of it, I see it all. You know, it's just like with Lucci, you know, Lucci talent. I remember when I grew up in Oklahoma, you know, when the 808 bass come out with the Nemesis and Ron C. We used to listen to them. We go get those tapes, and that's straight from Dallas. So, you know, Dallas is a big influence. If you start looking at some of the things that go on in the music industry, you know, Dallas is a big influence to other cities. Mm-hmm. You know, there's Trap Boy Freddy's in other cities. There was Yellow Beezy's in other cities. There's Goyayos, there's Bugattis, there's a Young Nation. I can tell you, maybe I'm wrong to say this, but to me, Three Amigos was Young Nation. Young Black was Thugger.
Definitely.
So, you know, you look at it, these are the influences that at Atlanta that we influenced, and they blew up. It was because, I won't say one way or another, Dallas deserved a lot of things, but I think a lot of things that go on, people think that Dallas is we influence people. The problem is, I think the industry just don't know how to handle us. So they try to handle us with BS deals, and we don't take them.
You got a lot of stuff coming up before. Yeah, we got a new location open up in Redbird. You got things going on during the summer. The second location is in Redbird, and they call it Shops of Redbird, where Redbird Mall was. They gentrified all that. That's the second location coming in July. We're doing Taste of Dallas June 10th, June 11th, and 12th. We actually in the VIP booth at the Taste of Dallas at the Market Hall. The food truck, I probably got 20 to 25 events that's already booked for the food truck. We finna start doing nightclubs again with the food truck. I've been getting calls for that, so it don't stop. I get my emails stay full with people want catering. I got a catering, so we got 3 departments. We got the restaurant, the food truck, and the catering department. Look, hey, can you hire us? We need some extra shit to do. Yeah. Look, hold on. Can we get like a street star waffle? Can we get like a waffle that's a star?
Nah, I got you. We can do something signature. I got you. Matter of fact, I got 2 signatures that came from 2 people. Fat Pim got a song. You remember the Rack Daddy song? He got a sandwich called a Rack Daddy you can get at Breakfast Brothers. The Rack Daddy sandwich that come with bacon or sausage, fried egg, and home-style potatoes. Then I made a Davion boy.
We definitely. You said, bro. Before we really get out of here.
They could say it on camera.
We done made him promise a bunch of shit on this. Look, before we get out of here, how hard is it to, as many people as you know and as many good friends as you got, how hard is it to run a food business and not everybody expect everything for free?
Well, I ain't really had that problem because for some reason or another, everybody that's connected to me want to support. They pay for it.
Amen.
I hadn't had that problem yet, and they pay for it.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Support the black kings and queens out here. Man, this has been legendary for us, for sure. And we love when black excellence comes in here, and we love to learn, and you are a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge. We thank you so much for giving us some of your time and coming to sit down with us.
All right. I want to say this last thing. I always say this in my interviews. I have different ways I put it. There's 2 ways. These 2 words should never go together, rich and famous, because sometimes you're way famous before you're rich.
Yeah.
Now, you want to be the grave digger, or you want to be the person that manufactures shovels? No disrespect to the grave digger. You want to be the shovel, manufacture shovels. Now it got to the point, you want to be the grave digger, or you want to be the manufacturer of the John Deere? John Deere is digging the ditches now.
Hey, we trying to be rich.
So you got to figure that out.
Can we get you to do the Ricky Bobby before you...
Pose for the frame. I can't even say owner and operator, king of Dallas. Rickey. Nah, for real, you need.
Hey, don't mention no gatekeeper. I ain't no gatekeeper.
He said, I ain't got no gates. I do everything but sell gates. I ain't got one gate. We thank you so much for, Rickey Booker, we thank you so much for coming and being on the show.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah. And hey, you are a real life street star.
Shout out Reallyfe street stars, nigga. Move.